Peace unto you. Welcome to another Secrets of the Soul. We have lots of what humans would consider time today. So we're very, very grateful to present another one. This is our second one today. We speak of the power in your eyes today. For one of the divine laws is reality is based upon your perception. What you see is what you are. Another form of knowingness as it pertains to the eyes. Peace unto you, A.K.A. Welcome in to all those that are new. My name is Nadiie Black of the Seeker tribe, Blackfoot in English, Native American. We're very grateful to be a part of this existence with you. I'm a medicine man, initiated in the realms of astral. And my first understanding of that which is spirituality blossomed as I was 7. And from that time, moving up to now, my life has been basically disciplined as it pertains to the light. One thing that always rung true is the power in your eyes. If you see something in the external world, if it serves not, then our own perceptions must, if we feel we are the light workers or miracle workers of any particular day and age, our perceptions must reorganize the reality or environment that we're seeing. How is this possible? By seeing things differently, seeing things through the eyes of what people consider love is. So as we go deeper into what love is, our explanations would be living a life of no harm and no pain, no fallacies, no judgments of another, no hates, no enabling of beefs. All of this is a part of a form of existing for realities based upon your perception. So you exist in a reality of pains, hurts, and illusions if you see pains, hurts, and illusions. So be very, very, very secure in what you see, and what you see, be very, very ready to live that way. As we dive deeper into the power in your eyes, today we will explain some techniques that you can utilize in order to see into the ethers. For people that channel or people that speak to spirit guides or, their animal totems, people that speak to the Anunnaki or Arcturians, Syrians or Pleiadians or any being that is other than human, we peer into the ethers. So we will explain some ways of how you today can peer into the ethers. But first, as a foundation, what serves for every single person now is look at your life. See, we understand that it serves for us to view life in an abundant sense. We understand that in order to experience that which is love in our immediate realities, we have to be able to see it and affirm it in this now. We have one question come in. How do I help a friend from going down a bad path? We have A.K.A. as well. It freaks me out staring into the eyes, my eyes, too long and deep. Understand your eyes lead to your soul. So if it quote unquote freaks you out, understand that there's power in your eyes. Now, mirror gazing is a technique that has been utilized in a way that serves not for the human body. For people who don't even understand the power of mirrors and what they're actually doing when they're mirror gazing. Mirror gazing is simply you peering into portals. If you astral project and you get the insight of a particular master, we would tell you, do not look in mirrors. Not because mirrors are bad, but it's mainly because when you look in mirrors in the realms of spirit or in the astral realms, you will be able to peer into many versions of yourself, many different realities, and you may not necessarily be ready for it. You may not be ready to see yourself. The first time I see myself, I was about 16. I astral projected and me was in front. I was looking at myself. another version of me from a different higher reality came and looked at me. And we were speaking through perception. The moment you see yourself, your entire reality shuts down. My entire body stiffed up when I astral projected and seen myself. So that's why we say when you go into the realms of spirit, see not the mirrors. For mirrors will lead you into dimensions that you may not necessarily be ready for. Do not get caught up in the horror movies that try to steer people any particular way. Just understand the power of portals. We have another child of source asking, how do I help a friend from going down a bad path? This goes perfectly with the power in your eyes. See, ask yourself, who is the me that is saying a particular path is good or bad? For when you see and understand things through the eyes of Source, God, you will know that there is no right or wrong, only what we accept and what we choose to not accept. There's no forms of dualism as it pertains to existing. Dualism just is not so, for separation is not so. All is connected. Even further, all is one. So now you must ask yourself, is it my ego that is deeming this person as walking upon a bad path? For we as beings of spirit nature, we sometimes have a tendency to say anybody not walking on the quote-unquote spiritual path isn't walking on the correct one. A lot of spiritual people have the tendency of doing that. But you must understand, everybody has a spirit and everybody is on a particular path. Therefore, everybody is on the spiritual path. So in order for you, LaGuardia? Definitely interesting name. In order for you to align yourself with knowingness as it pertains to what must I deliver to my friends that I feel are walking on a path that serves not, is to first affirm that they are walking on a path that serves. If you are seeing someone and that someone that you're seeing is very depressed, if you're talking to a depressed person, the first thing psychology tells us to do is not remind the person that is quote-unquote depressed about why they're depressed. Refocus and repurpose their perceptions to something else that could serve for them. Psychology tells us this. So it's no difference as it pertains to spirituality. If someone is walking on the left-hand path, as some say, or a path that may not be very suitable for any vessel, or in your perception, any vessel, then first affirm and know that the path that they are walking on in a grander scheme of existing is in perfect alignment with Source's will. Now when we have that foundation, now all that serves for you is to lead by example. Because in a generation of judgments and hates, a Detroit Red cannot become a Malcolm X. In a generation of judgments and hates, a warlock cannot become a priest. In a generation of love and acceptance, one who may walk on any particular path has room to evolve into something else. So first, affirm the sight of one who is in perfect alignment as it pertains to your friends, your family, yourself. And then you lead by example. If it pertains to yourself, listen to masters that are of love. Listen to beings that are actually assisting people. Watch people that are actually assisting and providing benefit. Study masters like Yogananda, Yeshua, Buddha. Remove masters from religions. What will serve for a lot of people, because the power is in your eyes, is remove masters from these religions. See, we've seen a lot of spam as it pertains to any particular master. In this case, we have Yeshua. People are more hyperfixated with the religion rather than following the path of Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, A.K.A. Wanikia, A.K.A. Ishua. Many names, same person. More people are focused on being a part of a religious structure rather than following in the footsteps of the person that the quote unquote religion is so-called based off of. We know that the religion is not based off of that man. We know when we go deep into histories that the religions was formed far after the man transcended and left the vessel. We know these things because we actually do histories and studies. You will understand that even the crucifixion, as it pertains to the Master Yeshua, didn't go down like people say it went down. That's what we'll say on that. Most people, when you objectively ask them with an open mind, what Bible was you listening to? What is the Bible that you actually follow? Most people would say, the New Testament or any of the recent renditions. So then we will ask them, do you actually care about the history of your religion? And this goes for all religions. If you ask people, do you actually care about the history of your religion? Most people will be kind of hesitant, but then you have some people that will be very brash and say, yes, I do. Well, then what about this Bible, this Bible, this Bible that came all before these? What about the histories that has been doxed out of your current Bibles? Well, I thought the verses said, thou shalt not take or add to the word of God. You're quite literally doing that when you have over 1,000 translations of something. If English is being spoken, and we all can clearly understand it from the first iteration of this quote-unquote so-called book, then why do you have to translate it? When you quite literally say, thou shalt not add or take from the word of God. That sounds like a fallacy within itself. So that's why we say most people don't even care about their own religions. They may think they do, but when you really ask them critical questions, that's why critical thinking skills are extremely important. In this quote-unquote rat beef that is in the world, we can figure out that a lot of critical thinking is not in the forefront. And it drifts into every form of existing. People do not critically think about their religions, especially a particular one. Mainly because we understand that you have been raised in this culture. So we still extend grace. So as it pertains to you speaking to those that are of religions, you must extend grace to them. Grace is extremely important. Forgiveness is extremely important. Most people avoid atrocities their religions brought forth. Most people avoid the foundations of the religions. And most people don't even remove the masters from the religion to learn from the masters directly. If you are a follower of that which is Christ, you are not a follower of Christianity. There's a big difference between the two. A follower of Christ is completely different than the follower of Christianity, for Christ was not of any particular religion. It was just a man of God. And when you do the histories of this particular figure that people call Jesus, Wanikia, Yeshua, Ishua, Joshua, when you do the research on this particular being, this master that is so revered, you will find out that Jesus, A.K.A. Yeshua, Wanikia, Ishua, Joshua, did not like the idea that a group of people said God is only in this area. That's why he would say in specific verses that source, A.K.A. God, is within you, that heaven is within you. When a being also says heaven is within you and God exists in heaven, that means God is within you. Critical thinking will lead us in that direction. Critical thinking will also lead us in that direction when a master like Jesus, and this is in your own books, when a master like Jesus says, you shall do what I do and more, critical thinking lets us know if the master who is the quote-unquote Christ says, you shall do what I do, pause. In order to do what the Christ did, you must be the Christ. So what the Christ is affirming in you is all that is great in me is great, is all that greatness is in you. So again, all of that greatness in me is in you. That's what the Christ says when he says with critical thinking. When you, the Christ, say to another person, you shall do what I do, pause. That means quite literally, you shall do what I do. You don't even need that much critical thinking to understand. If I quite literally say, you shall do what I do, what does that mean? There's no other ways to interpret, you shall do what I do. The only people that say, no, 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 I can't be great, I can't be the Christ, is the people that do not want responsibility. For Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, came into earth as a human to remove that excuse from humans, yet they still use the excuse that, oh, it's not possible. The being came in the flesh as a human, to show all people you can do this as a human. That is logical. Now critical thinking skills are extremely important. Now let's move to the second part of that person's statement. You shall do what I do and more. Okay, I'm the Christ as well as Jesus, as well as you. That's how that person was able to confidently say, you shall do what I do. But then the and more, or in his words, greater works than I. Walking on water, healing a nation, bringing forth the ideologies of truth to the masses on earth and the realms of beyond. You're saying, I'm going to do more than that. You're saying you, this person in this live, the people in the comments are going to do more than that. Oh, wow. That means you're very, very special. That's also, because remember, masters do not speak in a linear sense, because God does not work in a linear way. God does not say, in order to get to point B, you must go through point A. That's not how God works, because everybody lives a different life. Critical thinking, everybody. If everybody lives a complete different life, there is not going to be one right way for anything. If God is so omnipresent, just critical thinking, if God is so omnipresent and so all-knowing, it's not just going to say, in order to get back home, you have to do this. And it's not just going to say that to any particular region. So you have some people that are so hyper-fixated on my religion, this is the only way. That sounds like a colonizer energy. For source is of an omnipresent love energy. What about the people that are on the other side of the world? Okay, because they didn't hear the quote-unquote interpretations of your information as it pertains to God. Now they're just SOL. That's what people are saying. So now God just don't care about those people because you're not. No, that's not how that works. Source is infinite. If source is so infinite and so all, then there is a way for every single person to come back home. This colonizer energy that people have been manipulated with is so crazy. Let's be blunt for a second. It's so crazy. The idea and the notion, this is what Yeshua went against. If Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, was here today, most of the people on earth would not like him. Because his whole point, especially today, his whole point is we're all one, we're all brothers and sisters. There's no point in bringing forth hates for one another. There's no point in warring and killing and slaughtering one another. In the name of who? Not in the name of God. You can't kill in the name of God, for death does not exist. You cannot hurt in the name of God, for pains are not so. All you do is you are essentially, when you rest in this dimension, you live as a mirror. So all that you dish out is what you shall receive, for a mirror reflects back to you what you are. So this notion and this idea that Jesus is the way, oh, this master is the way, or this is the way, this religion is the way, this idea is so much fallacy. It's just so fictitious. Why would you limit source? One quick way that we get past this and bridge with others is we say, do you believe God is all? So in the comments, everybody, in the comments right now, let me know, do you believe God is all? Say yes, say no. Do you believe God is everything? Source. Do you believe source is everything there is? Yes or no in the comments right now. Do you believe God is all? Well, okay, hold on. Do you have faith that God is all? Okay, hold on. Let's continue it. Yes or no? Do you have faith that God is all? You said yes to the believe. Well, do you have faith that God is all? Okay. Now let's continue. Do you know that God is all? We must transmute our belief into faith and our faith into knowingness. Do you know God is all? Yes or no in the comments. If you know God is all and everything, look up the definitions that we use. Critical thinking now must be implemented. When we utilize language, the only reason why we're able to understand language is because each word has a definition. Well, if we then change the definitions of words, then we don't know the language we're speaking. So when we say all, we mean all. So you can't say God is all and then exclude this religion, this group of people, this, that, and say, no, this is the only right way. That does not make sense. That does not make sense. That does not make sense. We are about making things make sense logically and spiritually. The people that are of a die-hard type of energy as it pertains to their religions, oh no, we must bash you and judge you. Your own masters wouldn't do that. For your own masters say judge someone else, judge yourself. Common sense not too common. Yes, it's really not. People's own, this is why I say being a follower of Jesus and being a follower of religion are two completely different things. Because if you were really a follower of Jesus, what you would do is you would go into the Christian religions, you'll pull out every single verse that this so-called Jesus character said. Then you will go to, the Eastern religions, because the Dalai Lama, literally on a video, the Dalai Lama, literally on one of his lives, said that Jesus came over there. That's how he learned Reiki. Then you will go over there and you will figure out what Jesus was speaking about over there. If you really was a follower of Jesus. Because you must understand, for a master like Yeshua to be known around the world, he had to be around the world because there was no internet. This idea that you can just say something in Arkansas and somehow in Egypt people know about it off the strength is absolutely bonkers. Type 33s in the chat right now if what I just said makes sense. Type 33s in the chat right now if you are supposedly known around the world, you must have traveled the world. Type 33s in the chat right now if that makes sense. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Because we don't have internet in the time of quote-unquote Yeshua and Buddha. So you had to travel to spread the word. That makes sense, right? You had to travel to spread the word. Quite literally in these people's own religions, it says, my son, come out of Egypt. Well, he wasn't born there. So obviously he traveled there. Okay, obviously he might have traveled. Oh, in the UK, you talking about their shrines of Mary Magdalene in the UK? And Yeshua and Mary Magdalene was always next to each other with all of the rest of the disciples. Oh, okay. So he was in the UK. He was in Tibet. Oh, you're saying that, you have a master in front of you that is Native American. Oh, you're saying that a person named Wanikia came to your tribes and told you about something called the Vision Quest? Well, what did Wanikia look like? Bronze skin, wool-like hair, had his hands glowing. We say he had the rainbow energies around him. There are native prophecies called the Warriors of the Rainbow. Oh, so Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, A.K.A. Ishua, A.K.A. Wanikia, they're all the same person. So you're saying Yeshua traveled to the UK, to Egypt, to Tibet, to these Eastern religions, to the Americas, to the original Americas, to the ancient Egypt and Kemet that was in America first. Before he went to Africa, you talking about there was an Egypt in America? You say he went over there too? So he traveled the world. So most people, they don't even understand. If you are a follower of Yeshua, you are a follower of Yeshua, the energy, the Christ. So if you're a real follower, and this may rub people the wrong way, because this information is now putting responsibility on people and now is breaking some people's realities. And when you break a person's reality, you best be prepared to fill it up with something. So don't just break people's reality and not offer a solution. That's why we give a full solution, because you would be irresponsible as a teacher of the light to just strip someone down and not replace it or give them the option to choose something new. Well, the option to choose something new, yes, the truth hurts. It definitely does hurt. The option to choose something new is if you're a so-called follower of Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, A.K.A. Wanikia, A.K.A. Ishua, you will listen to all of these names and start doing research on all of these names. As a historian of the light, of galactic history, historians would tell you not to follow names, follow descriptions, characteristics, and actions of a particular figure or archetype. Because in many cultures, certain languages and letters didn't exist, so people would have called certain people that are revered today different names. But follow the actions. Follow what this person did. If it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, well, I think it's a duck. If Yeshua was walking on water over here, and then there's a prophecy over here in the native cultures about a man walking on water, but they called him a different name, I'm pretty sure it's the same person. If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, well, by golly, it's a duck. Hello, I like ducks too. Quack, quack. So this idea that people are followers of Jesus is so just fictitious. You're a follower of the religion. And that person didn't have a quarrel with religion. His only quarrel was if the religion said this is the only place you can reach God. That is a fact. He wouldn't have said God is within you if he subscribed to the notion that you had to go to a place. So that's just a fact. And when masters say, follow me, you must have, this is where more critical thinking skills happen. If a master like Yeshua said, follow me, critical thinking skills are important. Why would a master like that say, follow me in that particular time? Let's go to that time. Women didn't have rights. In the name of religion, it was law to slaughter people if they didn't subscribe to the religion. In the name of religion, a very specific religion, it was law to banish people if they didn't. So yes, if you are a person, any person that is of love and of light, that wants to give women rights, that understand that everyone is equal, that understand that love is the way, that is saying God is within, yes, you would go, if you were of that ilk, you would go to a town that is the complete opposite and say, follow me. When a master like Yeshua would say, follow me, this is where critical thinking happens. He is saying, follow me, because this entire environment you're in is fake. Me and minds know what the truth is. Because when you do more historical research on Yeshua, the quote-unquote Christ, you will understand that he was taught by masters called the Essenes. Everybody, after these lives, look up everything I'm talking about. Don't just use your ego to get in the way. This is where critical thinking happens. Look up Yeshua, Ishua, and Wanikia. Look up the Essene teachers. Look up a land called Qumran. Look up why they was defending something called the Dead Sea Scrolls. Look up Isis and Osiris story. Look up Enki and Enlil story. Look up why Thoth and Yeshua are so similar. Look up all of these things, because history repeats itself. In every culture, there is a quote-unquote culture bringer. But as we get more close, yes, look up the Sumerian, information. Look up the Epic of Gilgamesh. Look up all of these things, and what you will realize is, oh, there's similarities in all of them. So when a master like Yeshua, this is all the power in your eyes. That's why this critical thinking is important, because when you see things, you know what they are. Most people are just regurgitating information. If we just, for a second, everybody, think logically, think objectively for a second. When is the last time you have ever questioned your religion, if you are of a religion? When is the last time you have questioned your spirituality? Not even just religion. When's the last time you questioned your spirituality? Like really questioned it. Like really, okay, this doesn't make sense. Let me do research to figure. When's the last time you had a 3-day research journey, cross-referencing information? When is the last? Most people in this generation don't even know what cross-referencing even means. Again, most people in this generation do not even know what cross-referencing even means. You must question. For one who questions is one who aligns themselves with wisdom. You don't know if you don't ask. The golden statement in saying closed mouths don't get fed. Most people in spirituality and religion, it doesn't matter what structure you're a part of, most people are still falling victim to this. They don't question. They hear a master like Nadiie and they just take everything Nadiie says verbatim. Yes, I know I'm the son of source. Yes, I know what I'm saying is truth, but still research and question what I'm saying. And then not only do that, you cross-reference. You go to your Google. I'm talking about deep cross. And I know when people don't do it. You go to Google, you do deep research. I'm not talking about the first 3 links. You scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to the 30th link. And you figure out the same information from the top is on the bottom. Then you go to a complete different search engine aside from Google. And you do the same research. What you will figure out is when you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, why did Google take out that article? I have a story for you. Yeah, DuckDuckGo is one of them. There's one more search engine because there's Google, DuckDuckGo, and another one. If you know the third one, type it in the comments. Show these people how to cross-reference information. I have a story for you. I was a teenager, maybe 13 or 15, around that time frame, right? Around 13 and 15. Let me tell you how not good it is to research strictly on Google. So I was doing deep research because I practice what I preach. Before I started teaching in the overt sense, I had to make it make sense logically and spiritually. So I was researching these under-earth cities. I was researching under-earth cities. I was researching this idea that there's a sun in the middle of the earth. I was researching why there are certain mountains that were said to open up and close. I was researching why there's this idea that beings are living in the earth. I was researching QHHT sessions. If you know about QHHT sessions, you will know where we're going with this. Dolores Cannon is the one that created the QHT sessions. Quantum healing hypnosis technique. Quantum healing hypnosis technique. She brought your subconscious to the Samyanistic level. She brought your subconscious to the Samyanistic level. And what she found out was when the session was nearing its end, a being of knowingness will step through and will just have answers. She would have many sessions across many different states. The people she's having sessions with knew not of each other, yet this same being with the same information was coming through. She said, something is here. I think I just found out how to reach our higher selves. They're all connected. In her studies, she would find out that beings were living in a place called inner earth. Now it goes back to when I was 13 and 15. 13 through 15, I'm doing research on these underground cities, on the Illuminati, as they say, on these secret societies. We're doing research on them. We find an article, I promise you, everybody, no joke, pay attention. We find an article from years, over 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like the text looked like it's a newspaper. Like it was made on the first computer type article. And in this article, it was detailing how you get to these inner cities, how there's multiple passageways, how you go through these some particular underground tunnels. There's tunnels that lead to this place and there's tunnels that loop you around. There's like a maze. And it's no coinkydink that certain people that got out of very high profile, SA rinks and stuff like that, they would speak about tunnels and how there's these underground tunnels leading to so many cities that they're taking kids in. And everything goes, in hindsight, I was like, what the heck did I find? But as a kid, I'm looking, I'm like, whoa, I just found the proof. Literally, I found the proof of underground city. They was detailing it. They was detailing certain people in banks, they live in here. Certain families live in this place. And you know what happened to my computer when I found that article, everybody? My computer mysteriously shut down. It was in its charger. The way my mom was set up, we was in a very strict black household as it pertains to technology as well. So you wasn't running around all around the house. People that know about the black households, they know exactly what I'm talking. You're not running around the crib. The computer is staying right there. You're not going to be on the computer all day. And it got so bad that my mother smashed the computer. She was like, y'all are allowing technology to suck you dry, so no more computer. So the computer was staying on its charger. There was no reason for the computer to die. I found this article. I'm scrolling, I'm reading. Oh my gosh, I found proof of underground cities. The computer shut off. The computer shut off. It took me a while to reboot it was a whole rebooting process. It took a while to reboot the computer. And when I rebooted the computer, the article was not there anymore. Google, everybody. That's what happens when you find the truth on Google. That's why we say cross-reference. People only get their research from Google. Don't just cross-reference Google websites. So let's say you're looking up something on Google. You look on the 4th website, right? You click that. Now you scroll down to the 10th or 11th website. And you figure out if the information is there. You cross-reference that. Now you go to a complete different search engine. Now TikTok is a search engine. So you look up Google, DuckDuckGo, TikTok. I think somebody said Tor. I don't know if that's an actual search engine, but if it is, you cross-reference. The power in your eyes. When you see through all of it. Yes, Tor is another. Okay, perfect. So this is the importance of cross-referencing information. Now you see people that are of religion are like, most people, they haven't done this. They can lie and say they done. Yes, I can tell people are lying. Most people haven't. They're like, I mean, yeah. I mean, Nadi's pretty right. I don't remember the last time I questioned my religion, because in specific religions, if you question it, oh, that's just, oh, you're banishable now. You just can't ask questions. That sounds like a dictatorship to me. That sounds like slavery. If you can't question something, that sounds like slavery. If a religion was as structured and as secure, any religion, and any form of spirituality, not even just religion, it's talking about spirituality as well. If any form of learning about God is so secure in itself, they would say, ask along, ask any question. Because I'm so secure, I know what the truth is. Isn't it weird? Let critical thinking, everybody. Isn't it weird when you try to question religions, your family trying to banish you, you get banished from this place and that place, or you're just outcast? Isn't that so weird? Like, for example, let me know in the comments. Type 33s in the comments if this makes sense, what I'm about to say. If someone is lying on you, a bold-faced lie, doesn't it make sense that if that lie isn't true, you're not worried about it? Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. If someone is saying a bold-faced lie against you and it's just not true, doesn't it make sense that you're not fazed about it? You're not worried about it? It's just a lie. It's just a rumor. Nobody cares about that. 33s in the chat right now if that makes sense. Critical thinking. 33s in the chat if that makes sense. If someone is saying a bold-faced lie, if you know they ain't got nothing to do with the truth, critical thinking lets us know that, oh, I'm secure in myself. Well, why isn't religion secure in itself? Why can't you question your religion? Then you'll have some masters and leaders come on. No, you can question the religion, but the moment somebody does it, then they start having an attitude about it. The moment somebody does it in the church service, people start catching attitude. Let the pastor talk. No. I have a question. I thought church was about teaching about God. If church is teaching, then let me ask a question. Why the orange jumpsuit? Well, orange is a very particular color for expression. It's aligned with a very specific energy center. That's why monks will wear orange. So that's what we're saying. So when you have a religious structure that is not allowing, or a spiritual structure for that matter, if you have a spiritual leader, or a pastor or any particular person of any spiritual or religious structure saying you can't question, now you really question. Because if you're so secure in yourself, if you're so secure in your self-religion or spiritual way, then you could tell somebody, hey, ask 100 questions. I know what the truth is, therefore I'll be able to deliver it. Y'all think Buddha or Jesus or Yogananda really was like, don't ask nothing, don't question nothing? No, they will ask away. Ask away. And I bet I'll give you the answer because I'm the truth. That is how you know someone's on that path, when they have the answer. And even if they don't have the answer physically, if they're able to direct you in the location that does have the answer, that's how you know what the truth is. We will have a Q&A segment, but note, everybody in here is a master. This notion that there's one particular person speaking of this light and nobody else has the information is a complete fallacy. So everybody in the comments, understand if there is a question being asked and I'm not getting to it, know that it's of you, for you are a master to ask that question if you have the answer, which we all do. Now, to answer this particular question, and understand when we speak, it serves not to stop the speech to answer a question and then lead back in. It serves to speak fully, and then we'll get to the questions. So just a little bit of patience, everybody. Patience is a must. What is the necklace of? This necklace in particular is amethyst. The amethyst with a tiger eye. Yeah, I was like, I knew there's another crystal in this one. Amethyst, all amethyst does when it is activated is it plants a loving thought in your mind, and you're able to utilize it if you so choose to. Tiger's eye is being able, when it's activated, to see past the malarkey. Seeing as a tiger. When you see how a tiger operates when it's hunting, nothing else matters. The people driving in the cars, taking pictures, nobody matter. I'm focused on what the truth is. Now, what you must understand about crystals is crystals are not needed. But people that bring forth judgments, people that bring forth judgments, we can tell when someone, quote unquote, is proclaiming that they're of a Christ way, yet they judge another. For if you're of judgments, you judge yourself. That's an actual fact. What you must understand about masters is being a master is being able to bridge with other people. I understand that people align with crystals. I understand the power of crystals, for I've utilized many, many techniques with them. And I am Native American, Sikh Sika. Everybody in the chat right now, because we have another one that follows not their own religious text. This person claims that Jesus is the way, yet they bring forth hates and judgments on another. Everybody in the chat right now, let me know if you understand to be like Jesus is to act like Jesus. Everybody type 33s in the chat right now if you understand to be like Jesus is to act like Jesus. To walk in the path of Jesus or follow Jesus is to act like Jesus. To try your absolute best to live in this person's footsteps because he has laid a foundation for us to move by. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. All right. Now, continue to type 33s in the chat if you know Jesus wasn't hating on nobody and secretly doubting and subbing people. Type 33s in the chat if you know this quote-unquote character of Jesus was not hating on people, sending forth judgments, because quite literally he said, judge another, judge yourself, hate another, hate yourself. So we all are perfect in alignment with this, right? So we all know, right? Okay, so for all those that claim to walk the path of Christ, understand that your own master wouldn't have brought forth hate towards other people. What serves in situations... You want to go outside, Mr. Buddy? Come on, outside. Come on. What serves for people that do not understand is to simply ask a question. Bringing forth hates and doubts for another person serves not, because asking a question will guide you to the answers. Critical thinking, everybody. Now, everybody, type 33s in the chat. Type 33s in the chat if it makes sense that in order to be a successful quote-unquote teacher, you have to bridge with other people. Because if you're not relatable, you're not going to get anything across to the students. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. In order to bridge with people that are willing to learn from you, you have to relate to them. You have to bridge. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. So we have someone with this notion that, oh, bridging with people is new age malarkey, as they say. That's kind of odd. You would be a terrible teacher. Let's be very honest now. Exactly. It's called meeting them where they are. If I am speaking to somebody that only utilizes the term Allah, even though I use the term source in my daily conversation, I'm going to get over myself and use Allah because I care about God more than I care about the journey of how I got to this position. Most people, I can tell, don't care about God. They only care about their own religions. They only care about their own way. Because what you're not going to tell me, as anybody who judges, you're not going to tell us that any particular way that is bringing forth love to people is bad. If people are utilizing crystals and they are experiencing love, you should be congratulating them and being happy that they're experiencing love. On the flip side, if people are utilizing crystals and they're experiencing nothing but negativity in their life, then maybe you shouldn't use it. But if the mass majority of people are experiencing bliss, maybe you should correct yourself. For most people don't actually care about God. Right now, we're talking about the truth. We're just going to lay the truth out because some people, I can tell, they're more caught up in indoctrinating people in dogma. They're more caught up in indoctrinating people in dogma rather than caring about God. Because Source, A.K.A. God, understands that the journey does not matter, only the destination. See, the same people that are so quick to bring forth hates and judgments to another person, those are the same people that adopted the energy that crucified the master that we know as Yeshua. Judging a person and not asking them why or asking questions All of that is the same energy that crucified you. Type 33 in the chat if that makes sense. The blatant hate on somebody without knowing them, without asking questions, just banishing them. Doesn't that kind of feel eerily similar to the same people that crucified Jesus? Because the same people that crucified Jesus didn't ask him any questions. They just said, you're going against our structures. We're teaching our people this. You're saying that. You're wrong. You're wrong. Somebody go get him. Doesn't that make sense? So the people that are so quote unquote pro-Jesus, you're not actually pro-Jesus, because if we go back to your past lifetime, you're the one that killed him. Oh my God, Nadiie is getting so real now. So if you really care about Jesus, you would live a life of love. What you would do is you would check your own ego and say, yes, for all the people that are of religion, this is how a person that is of religion can be of Jesus, right? I am of a Christian religion. I may not necessarily agree with the people that are of spirituality, with crystals and their sage and light. I don't get it. But as long as it's making you happy, as long as it's guiding you to love, that's all that should matter. Because last time I checked, God cares about love. Last time I checked, God doesn't care about our languages, our books, material. God doesn't care about any of these things, clothes. Last time I checked, God does not care about those things. God only cares about, are you living a life that is making you happy? Exactly. Why is it always a battle of whose religion is better? Why can't we all just say, I can agree with some aspects and I can disagree with other aspects, but it does not mean that I have to banish you or bring forth hates. Type 33s in the chat if what I said just made sense. Type 33s in the chat if it makes sense to not just bring forth hates to another person or a group of people and say, if it's leading you to love, that should be all that matters. For last time I checked, God is love. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. To not judge another person, because that's how holy wars are started. Because people are arguing, and when big enough egos start arguing with each other, now let's scrap. So the same people, and this is so funny. It's so funny to me. It's just so funny to me. People claim to be of this master religion. We're not saying religion is bad. Most people's religions, the manuscript of it, the foundation of it is very beautiful. Because we understand some people need structure. So let's not go on a bash religion campaign. Some people need structure. This life, when I say I astral project every night, that is not for the weak. Seeing spirits and talking to spirits and angels and stuff every night, that is not for the weak. Hearing literal voices of God and saying very profound things that change people's lives on the daily is not for the weak. Some people just want to hear a pastor and read a book. That is fine, but is it getting you to God? If it is, applaud. But this notion that you have to dismantle if it's bringing forth love. See, dismantling only makes sense. Dismantling only makes sense if what we're bringing forth is hurting people. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. Type 33s in the chat right now if it makes sense to stop something if it's hurting people. Type 33s in the chat if it makes sense to stop something if it's hurting people. It makes sense, right? Well, if something is obviously bringing forth love, if something is obviously bringing forth love, when you click the link in my bio and you click Nadiie Black's guidance and you see the over 100 hours of me guiding people, if I show you my DMs and how we're profoundly changing people's lives, if I show you the comments and messages I'm getting about how I'm stopping kids from suicide, how I'm stopping parents from breaking up, how I'm stopping all of the negativity in the world, when you understand this, why would you want to dismantle that? Isn't that the same energy that dismantled Jesus? Last time I checked, Jesus did nothing but good in humanity. Let's not act like people like Jesus. Let's not act like, because if he was so liked, he wouldn't have got up out of here. They wouldn't have taken him out. So let's not act like, when someone brings forth these ideologies that may not agree with you, let's not act like that there isn't an energy above humanity and the dense beings of humanity that wants to stop it, because it's not my way. And remember when I said in the beginning, people that are on the spiritual path sometimes have a way of trying to force their will on people and say, no, the spiritual path is my path. Most people that are on the spiritual path, a lot of them, they say the spiritual path is my path, and if you're not on my path, you're not on the right path. Well, religion does the exact same thing. If you're not on my religion, you're not following God. That is a fallacy. That is a fallacy. For what most people must understand right now. Everybody stop commenting. Let me know something in the comments right now. What matters to you right now? God or humans? In the comments, let me know what's your answer. What matters? God or humans? Let me know. Let me know. What matters? Source, A.K.A. God, or humans? Let me know. Type it in the chat. Let's type it in the chat. What matters right now? Source, A.K.A. God, or humans? See, I see some people want to spin it. Some people want to spin it. Some people want to bring forth their own. See, what you must understand is if you judge another, you judge yourself. If you say Yahweh, it's still God. If you say Source, it's still God. If you say Allah, it's still God. If you say Great Central Sun, it's still God. Y'all are the same people that bring forth hasting ideologies, certain religions. Y'all are the reasons war is happening. For if you understand the power of thoughts, words, and actions, you would understand the moment I stop hating people, and the moment I stop judging people, it lessens the ideas that people in general have to start wars. That is a fact. When you go into the realms of spirit, what you will see is two orbs above our planet. This quote-unquote dark orb is shrinking. That's how we're able to go in New Earth, and that's why there's so more spiritual masters in the forefront. But when you go into the astral realms, the spirit realms, you will see two orbs above our planet. One is a light orb that was once small, now is getting big, and one is a dark orb that was once big, now getting small. Anytime you hate, anytime you say Yahweh is stupid, or Jesus is stupid, or Muhammad is stupid, anytime you say those things, you feed that dark orb and it slowly gets bigger. Anytime you hate someone and say, oh no, not this or not that. So you speak English, the people that I'm listening to. You speak English, right? So what you're telling me is someone that speaks a complete different language, their word of God, because it's not G-O-D, is now completely wrong. That makes absolutely no sense. See, these ideologies people put on, they don't take it further than just English. If I say a particular word like Source or Yahweh or Allah or Great Central Sun, just because it's not the way that you say it does not mean it's not the frequency of our Creator. By that definition, see, I can respect that if people are going out their way to banish all other terminologies of God. Like God was the first, form of word we use to describe our Great Spirit. Yes, Great Spirit is another word for our Native American. So listen, so we went back into what matters, God or humans? People said God matters. My buddy wants to come back in the house. Go lay down. People said God matters. Okay, if God matters as much as y'all say God matters, and not humans, then everybody right now, let's do a group activity. If God really matters, right? If you can get past your own ego and realize that a person is actually bringing forth love, then let's do this group activity together. If God truly matters, then you'll get over yourself and you'll pray with us. Right now, on the count of 3, everybody take one deep breath. On the count of 3, take one deep breath. You hold your breath, and then you release through your mouth. Breathe through your nostrils, hold your breath, then release through your mouth. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. Now, out loud. Everybody out loud. If God really matters, like y'all said, and humans don't matter. If God really matters, out loud, everybody say, God, guide me. On the count of 3, everybody say, God, guide me. God, guide me to seeing as you see. and so it is. You can say amen if you want to. You can say ashe, whatever. So on the count of 3, say, God, guide me to seeing as you see. 1, 2, 3. Out loud now. God, guide me to seeing as you see. And so it is. Again, on the count of 3, you say you want to pray, you say you want to talk to God. This is one of the most powerful prayers you can ever pray. Why? When you ask Source to give you the sight to seeing differently, you start to see through the eyes of love. Isn't that the end goal for us, to live a life of love? Well, to live a life of love is to see through the eyes of love. You cannot live a life of love if you're seeing through the eyes of hatred. On the count of 3, everyone out loud say, God, guide, or Source, guide me to seeing as you see. 1, 2, 3. Source, guide me to seeing as you see. And so it is. Now that we have stated this foundation, what people must know about prayer is a lot of people don't even understand that there is a continuation to what they call prayer, or what we call divine statements is. Just sending dialogue to God does not equate something to a prayer. It's sending dialogue and having room to hear. Most people don't have room to hear. They just throw something on the wall of God and hope God picks it up. So now what we're going to do, again, on the count of 3, take 1 deep breath, hold it, and then exhale through our mouth. You inhale through your nose, hold it, exhale through your mouth. All right? 1, 2, 3. Everybody in unison. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. Shh. And listen. We ask Source, A.K.A. God, A.K.A. Allah, A.K.A. Yahweh, A.K.A. whatever, to guide us to seeing as it sees. Now just be quiet for a second. Stop your mad fingers. Stop your happy fingers. Just listen. Focus on your breath and trust that God loves you enough to give you an answer. You may feel itching across your body. Your body may feel cold. You may hear ringing in your ears. You may have certain revelations or thoughts. You may have epiphanies. Understand that when you leave room, everybody be quiet and just listen. When you leave room for God, now you have done a prayer. And now what we do as masters is, regardless of if you heard or felt anything or not, you know. We understand the flesh is weak, the spirit is willing. You know. Regardless of what the flesh may have felt or may not have felt, I understand God is all and omnipresent. So when I left room for Source to speak to me and through me, it is so. So now what we do, because we've allowed God grace and room. See, people that refute this, y'all are the same people that are being tainted by the ego, or what you would say the devil, what we call the ego. That's called bridging. When you see someone who is actually connecting people to God, that is not afraid to utilize certain terminologies to bridge with people, that is able to meet people where they are, that only intention is, will you transcend and go in the afterlife? I don't want any of you to say, God, why didn't you tell me? Because Source would say, I sent my son to tell you. When you understand that a master is in front of you actually bringing forth love, sometimes you have to check yourself and say, hey, at least he's not hurting people. So now that we've displayed this form of spiritual dialogue or divine statement or prayer, as some say, God, guide me to seeing as you see. Then we allowed space for Source to answer, because people just pray and then go about their lives. They don't act like they don't have 10 or 20 seconds to stop real quick and listen. Slow down. Now everybody, on a count of 3, take 1 more deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale through your mouth. On the count of 3, everybody say, thank you, all beings of love. for guiding me. Because God is not the only one. God has angels, spirit guides. Because we must understand, sometimes God just coming is a little too strong for people. If you just meet God, some people aren't ready. You know, there's certain stories in the Bible where electricity will hit a wall and now there's words. People aren't ready for that. Let's keep it a bean, everybody. Let's keep it a stack. You're not ready for a lightning to just strike through your window when your window is open and now writing is on your wall and it's a message from God. You're going to absolutely freak out. That's why God has angels, earth angels, spirit guides. Because listen, hey, if I can send, if as God, I can send an angel that kind of looks like a human. You know, we've experienced earth angels before. My mother, for example, there's a story about when my mother, on one Christmas day, she didn't have enough money to get all of us, because she has 3 kids, all of us some, Christmas presents. And then an earth angel came and paid for everything. He walked out the store. My mother ran outside, and it was a big commotion because my mother ordered a lot of stuff and the check didn't hit. It was a long line because everybody was doing the same thing, trying to get them last minute Christmas presents. This man came out of nowhere and I'll pay for it. Everybody was like, oh my God, that is an angel. You know, when someone brings forth this level of love, you instantly, that's an angel. This person walked out after he paid of the store. Everybody in that line, including the cashier, walked out to go to find him, but he wasn't there. Everybody that walked out to go and find him to see if he was looking for his car, he was not there. Disappeared. So let's not act like Source don't have angels and spirit guides and all these people to go help. So on the count of 3, everybody, say, thank you, all beings of love, we are grateful. Thank you, all beings of love, we are grateful. Out loud. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, all beings of love, we are grateful. And so it is. You see how much better you feel when you connect with love, when you're stopping the judgments, when you're directly praying to Source and actually allowing messages to come back? Type 33s in the chat if this little exercise we did assisted you in some way, shape, or form, or provided some form of service. Type 33s in the chat if this provided some form of service. Because what we must understand is love is the way. And if love truly is the way, allow love to be the way. Don't get caught up in this is right and this is wrong. There's no such thing as right and wrong. There is only what we accept and what we choose to not accept. But even if you don't accept something, it does not mean you have to bash it. Our existence as humans, our existence as beings with spirit, must be love. Because last time I checked, when y'all prayed to Source, y'all felt only love. You didn't feel fear. You didn't feel like someone's about to attack you. You didn't feel like you was finna get sniped. So, wouldn't it make sense for you, all of you, to deliver the energy and the emotion that Source has given you, love? If Source, when you pray to it, gives you love after the prayer, doesn't it make sense to only prioritize that for other people? Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. Doesn't it make sense for you to give people love because God is giving you love? Well, if God is giving you love and only love, then God must prioritize love. Even though humans have a limited understanding of what Source, A.K.A. God, is, the simple fact that we feel happy, loving, safe when we speak to this great omnipresent creator, maybe we should go spread that level of light. Maybe we should go spread that level of light. Rick Romero. This is a master. This is bridging, Rick Romero. I love when you ask this and when you say this. He says, see, my problem is that calling it the source. It was a lot of typos towards the end, but we understand the foundation of that. See, when you don't understand something, or you may not necessarily agree with something, what Rick Romero did is something masterful. This is somebody that prioritizes love, regardless of what he may have said before, if he even said anything before. But asking this is like, listen, bridging, I don't like when you do that. Why? Perfect. When we look up the definitions of these words, see, the reason I say source is because I understand what the definition of source is. When you look up the definition of source, the source of something, that means it's the source of it. It means all things come from this. So by literal definition, when you say the source, you're saying all things come from this. It's the exact same thing with God. What people must understand is the frequency behind our words that we use. If someone says Jesus and another person says Yeshua, you don't hear complaints because we know they're talking about the same person. How do we know? Because the energy signature and frequency of the word of the name matches. Well, if someone says Allah and someone says God, you clearly know they're talking about the Creator. So there's no need for fallacies and judgments and hates. All you must ask if you don't like a word is, what does that word mean? When you ask what does that word mean, and we clearly tell you it's the same definition of your God, then what is the beef? This is where a colonizer energy comes in. Do not get manipulated by the ego and its colonizer energy. Because a colonizer went to the Native Americans and said, never call it Great Spirit, you're going to call it this. A colonizer energy went to, this religion and that religion in the Crusades and said, don't follow this, you say this. That's a colonizer energy. A colonizer energy has nothing to do with race. It's a energy of wanting to impose will. So when a person says, yes, I say the word God for our Creator, and another person says, well, I say the word source for our Creator, and another person says, well, I say the word Allah for our Creator. We're all talking about the Creator, right? Huh? We're all talking about the same Creator, right? If we're all talking about the same person, the same being, the same omnipresent creation type of source, Creator, the Great Spirit, then why are you beefing with a illusionary word in a illusionary realm in a illusionary vessel that people call human? This is when masters say you don't actually care about God, you care about colonizing people to say your way is the right way. That's where that happens. See, as a master, as a person that actually values God, as a master and a person that actually, because all of you are masters, but do all of you value God? Now we ask a question in the comments. Do you value God? Yes or no? Do you value God and only God? Yes or no? First view says no because they put God in a box. Amen, you're onto something. Yes or no in the comments. Do you value God and only God? Do you value Source, Allah, Great Central Sun, the Great Spirit? They're all the same thing. If you actually value God, then value God. Don't value human words. If someone clearly tells you out their own mouth, you say God, I say Great Spirit. You say God, I say Allah. It's the same thing. If you then out your mouth say with this colonizer energy, no, you must say God with me. What? You know how crazy that? Doesn't that sound wild? Type 33s in the chat if that sounds kind of crazy. If that sounds kind of colonizer-y. But I just told you it's the same definition. No, you must say God. No, you must say Jesus. But it's the same. Type 33s in the chat that make like that kind of sound kind of weird. That kind of sound kind of crazy, right? But we're talking about the same guy here. We're talking about the same source, love. Oh, you don't actually value God when you spew that ideology. You value religion. You value your own way. Some people are so egotistical, they don't even value religion, even if they're a part of it. They value their own way. They value their own way. They say, my way is the way, and my way is the only way. I don't care if your way and my way have the same definitions. I don't care if your way and my way have the same definitions. Everybody right now, right? Everybody right now, because we're being real right now. The word humongous and the word grand, aren't they similar? Don't they essentially mean the same thing? Yes or no? The word humongous and the word grand, aren't they similar? Yes or no in the chat? Don't they essentially mean the same thing? The word humongous and the word grand, aren't they similar? Yes or no in the chat? Don't they essentially mean the same thing? Wouldn't it be crazy if you said humongous to somebody and they say, no, that's grand? But grand and humongous is the same thing. Wouldn't it be crazy if you walked up to somebody and they said, oh, that person's small. And then another person said, oh, that person's short. No, he's not small, he's short. Huh? Short and small, they're the same thing. It's wild that we can agree on, if you say something is grand and humongous, okay, we know you're talking about something that's obviously big. If we say something that is short or small, we obviously know you're talking about something that's little. So if people can agree on that, well, when we replace the words with the same foundation, the same theme, when we replace the word big or grand with God, and we replace the word humongous with, source or Allah or whatever, why is there now a beef when we just all came to an understanding that, well, if you use similar words that have similar definitions that kind of mean the same thing, okay, then that's fine. Well, why when it is replaced with God, do you beef about it? That kind of sounds wild. Those people don't actually care about God. Now notice, people, that there's people that are naysayers in the comments, right? And the people that are so naysayers, all you gotta do is ask them, do you believe in God? So all the people in the comments that are naysayers, ask them, do they believe in God? And if they say no, then stop talking to them, because this conversation has nothing to do with God. So we have Deja. He said, because they have different names of religion is to divide folks. Exactly. It's all about division. Deja says, because, and my apologies if I pronounced your name wrong, because you're not leading people to God, you're masquerading like you are, but you're not. So now, Deja, I ask you directly. Do you believe in God, Deja? Yes or no? I'm speaking directly to you, Deja. Do you believe in God? Let's talk about this, because right now it's about bridging. Deja, directly to you. Do you believe in God? I know God. Exactly. I love that terminology. You don't believe, you know. That's what we teach. I follow. Okay. If you believe or know, as you say, in that which is God, now I have another question. Does God only bring you love, or does God bring you fear, hates, and judgments? It's very simple. Does God bring you love or hates, fears, and judgments? Deja, I ask you directly. Does God bring you love or hates, fears, and judgments? God doesn't bring me hate or fear. Okay, so because of the question was, does God bring you love or hate and fear? Because you said no to hate and fear, you default to love. So because you said God brings you love, then doesn't it make sense for your value in this existence to be that which is love? Because that's what God gives you. It's written that it brings us spirit or fear, but power of love and sound of mind. Because of what you said towards the ending, we'll allow the word fear to slip out because, sometimes people value fear a lot. Fear in itself isn't bad. It's just a tool to remind you that you're out of frequency. So, as we anchor this, want to go outside, buddy? Come on, outside. You want some food? Let me feed my dog. So, because God doesn't give us a spirit. Okay, doesn't give you a spirit. Okay, perfect. I'm with you. So, because God only gives you love, Deja, wouldn't it make sense for you to only value love? So when you say someone who only brings forth love to people, and we know this because the people that we speak to say that I bring them love, say that I'm helping their kids stop suicide, say that I changed their life and their perception, say that they love my ideologies about all religions coming together and stop beefing with one another and just accept that people say different things for God. Wouldn't it make sense for a being like that to represent that which is love? Wouldn't it make sense for a being like that to be only the representation of one who loves? That makes sense, right? So for one person to say you're masquerading and you don't actually lead people to love, well, if the people that I am so-called leading saying, yes, you're leading me to love. If the people I am so-called leading say I'm stopping the arguments. If the people I'm so-called leading say you helped my kids. If I showed you my messages. If the people that are so-called I'm leading are saying I'm having a great benefit upon their lives. See, as a master or as a teacher or as a parent or as anybody, you and of your own accord, you have no basis. Us as people that are leading people, kids, teachers, counselors, us of our own accord has no basis whether we help someone or not. The person that we quote unquote talk to, they have to say whether the help was assisting or not. So if all of the people I have spoken with, all of the people I have had sessions with, and this goes for all masters, if all the people that we have assisted are saying I'm helping, but sure the only person saying I'm not, what does that say? That says somebody is lying. And I promise you it's not the hundreds upon hundreds of people that we don't know physically. Yes, I know them in spirit, but I have not met them in physicality. They have no reason to lie. Also, even further than that, I just started taking my teachings to technology. So there's really no reason to lie for me. See, the reason why it's a person like me would stand firm on this, because I can tell when people haven't got messages about how you literally save their children with your teachings, how we listen to your lives hours on end, how when I was going live for the 7 days for the eclipse, that people were saying there was hiking and running, listening to my lives. They was sharing the lives to their family. I can tell when it's affecting people because they tell me it does. If you're a counselor, you as a counselor have no basis to say you're helping people. The people that you so-called counsel, they have to come forward and say, you've helped me. That's how we know what a successful counselor is. That's a fact. If you are a teacher, you in and of yourself have no basis to say you're a great teacher. The students have to pass the test. The students have to say you actually assisted me, therefore I passed the test. So what we're telling you is, if a mass amount of people, when you go to all of the people that I've connected with, all of the people that has book sessions, all of the people that understand the value of the light, what we're saying is if all of these people say I provide great benefit, then who are you to say otherwise? I mean, it's just a fact. That's like you raising kids. You've been raising kids to the best of your ability, and in your eyes, in the kids' eyes, you did a very great job in raising these kids. That's like somebody out of the way that don't know your household, that don't know nothing, that don't even know this baby name, saying, you ain't raised that kid right. You will look at them like, but the kid is enjoying life. Kid, have I ever done anything wrong? No. Life is actually great. Then who are you to say something otherwise? That's like you training a dog, right? And you know the dog don't bite, and you know the dog is only loving. You know you've been around the dog with other people, and everything. The dog is a great dog. That's like somebody that don't know you nor the dog nor anybody you kick it with said, that dog, he's a vicious animal. That dog just bites everybody. It doesn't. Because everybody that's been around the dog love the dog. It don't make sense for someone that just comes out of nowhere to try to banish and bash and dismantle when only love has been aligned and supported. This is our Q&A segment, if you didn't peep already. Hey, Mr. Buddy, want to go outside? Outside? Come on. Outside? Come on. Oh, I guess not. Go lay down. If you got any more questions, let us know. Ray, that's a fact. Ray, you just did something that's a master. See, some people are so caught up in their own ego. I can tell when people don't value source. Some people are so caught up in their own ego that if something doesn't align with them, they want to stay. You know, those are the same people that will go to hell to try to convince the devil to come to heaven. And then complain. So those people are the same people that dance with the devil and complain it's hot. Those are the same people that dance with the devil and complain it's hot. If you don't like something, leave. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But if you stay, then you obviously on a soul level have some form of knowingness that this provides service. Like, am I bugging with that? I don't think I am. See, so I can tell when people value, because I would never fix my lips to go to a Christian live or go to a church and be like, oh, y'all stupid. What? Do you know how crazy? That's exactly what people do on here. People are so comfortable. Yeah, people are so comfortable behind technology, but they won't actually do those. I will respect you if you have video on your page or you going to hella institutions saying y'all all dumb. Then I'm like, hey, yo, I might not agree with it, but she got my respect. Or I may not agree with it, he got my respect. But people, they fix their lips to say the most wildest things that is completely against their own ideologies and religions. It's so baffling to me. Because if you actually cared about God, you would prioritize love. If something is bringing forth the people love, then let that be, because it's bringing forth the people love. Because that is what God gives us. That makes sense. Critical thinking is important. Critical thinking is important. I will never, because I value God so much, I will never go in anybody's institution and try to say you're wrong for this, that you're stupid. I'm the type of person that will go in God has no boundaries. That is a human ideology. That's right there, and that's where I have to stop you. God don't have boundaries because the boundaries is a human thing. Give me a verse where an angel has talked about a boundary. Give me everybody that even isn't a part of religion. Give me a verse where an angel has talked about your spirit boundaries. And no, because when you understand the realms of light, you would understand that All that serves exists, and all that doesn't serve does not exist. You will never hear a story of someone having a near-death experience or someone astral projecting to the heaven realm or the light realm saying anything is bad there. If everything is always bliss, there is no boundaries needed to be put in place. What is the reasons for a boundary? The reasons for a boundary is I do not align with something, therefore I don't want that energy near me, so I put up a boundary saying don't do this, this, or this because I don't like this energy that action produces. That is what a boundary is for. That is literally what a boundary is for. Well, when you go to heaven, you remove yourselves from those boundaries because everything in heaven, everything in bliss, anything in God's domain, anything in paradise, whatever word you want to talk about, when you go to these places, it is only love, bliss, happiness. There's no defense. You will never see an angel being defensive. You will never see a spirit guide being defensive, hating on one another, bringing forth judgments on one another. Oh, I need boundaries because my mental health. You will never hear no angel talk about my mental health. Because going to heaven is removing yourself from these limited ideologies. Give me a verse where God said my mental health, I need boundaries from these humans. Give me a verse where God said my mental health, I need boundaries from these humans. Do you see the things people say? People are so caught up in their own ego, they produce and project their own ego things onto God. Humans have a problem with that. Humans have a problem with projecting their own qualities, their own, forms of information, their own forms of thinking onto God. Humans have a problem with that because humans think they're the only beings that exist and they think they're so almighty and all powerful. But if you were so almighty and all powerful, then you would live a life, you wouldn't even pray, you wouldn't light a piece of sage, you wouldn't use any technique or any. If you were so almighty and powerful, you wouldn't use nothing because you're so sturdy in God. Nothing will rattle this information. Nothing will rattle this existence. Nothing will rattle my frequency. So when people project, all I see is projection. If it quack and look like a duck, by golly, it's a duck. So you should go to DuckDuckGo and do some more research. Because obviously, you are infatuated with ducks. Because it looks like a duck, it quacked like a duck, it's a duck. So go to DuckDuckGo and do research on the histories of source. Do research on the origins of, specific religions. Do research on these things. Do research on the origins of Yeshua. Research a place called the Essenes, masters called the Essenes. Research a land called Qumran. Research the Dead Sea Scrolls and why masters were so infatuated with it. Research these things. Research, because all I hear is regurgitation from books. All I hear is regurgitation from books. Even y'all got my dog saying y'all are bugging. Now, with that, now Deja, I love playing this game with you. Deja. Hold on, Mr. Buddy. We're speaking to God's child right now. Deja, be honest. Ain't no fake the fun. Ignore everybody else. Nobody else matters right now. It's me and you. It's me and you. When's the last time you questioned the Bible and done research on it? When's the last time you went in your Googles and said the origins of the Bible? When's the last time you went in your Googles and you said origins of the Bible? When's the last time you went in your Googles and said origins of Christianity? When is the last time you've actually questioned these things? We're not saying question to leave the religion. We're talking about question to understand it more. Everything that we say has nothing to do with leaving the religions because we literally, about 30 minutes ago, we said sometimes structures and religious structures are needed because people don't want astral experiences and waking up lucid. Nobody wants that all day. Some people just want to hear a pastor and read a book. That is completely fine if it's leading you to God. But be honest with me, Deja. When is the last time you actually looked up on your phone Origins of Christianity, origins of Yeshua, Yeshua's first words. When's the last time you researched Yeshua's family? Deja, I've done these things. When's the last time you researched Yeshua's family? Because if Yeshua came from a mother, then that mother had to have a mother, and that mother had to have a mother, and that mother had to have a mother. So obviously there's an established bloodline of Christ beings. When's the last time you've heard of... No. Reading the Bible is not how you understand research and histories to further know about the religion. That is just not a fact. If there were many versions of this is not even religious or spiritual. This is literally how you study. This school tells us this. Literal school. If you want to understand something a little more, do research on it. If you really care about your religion, or this goes for everybody, if you care about your spiritual practice so much, who was the first person? If you love Reiki so much, talk about, when's the last time you researched who was the first person to do Reiki? I know when people don't research because all they do is regurgitate information. So Deja, you didn't even you didn't answer the question because you haven't done it. So this is not a slight to you because a lot of people haven't done it. So don't think we're attacking you or nothing. Because a lot of people, I'm talking about probably 70% of the planet don't research, especially in this generation. So you're not the only one. I've been a person that didn't research when I was younger. I started my research journey very, very early. Teenage years, 13, around 15 is when I was researching the most. I have a plethora of books on my altar. I've done a lot of research because I actually, when I was an omnimist at one point in time. When I was a teenager, I became an omnimist. What an omnimist essentially is a person who sees value in every single religion. So you know what I did? I researched enough of every single religion to get a grasp of what it was. Because I cared about God so much, I care about God. See, I can tell when people don't care about God, they care about their religions. I care about God, so I said, let me figure out every instance where people was talking about the Creator. So I became an omnimist when I was a kid. Now, I'm just one who understands we're all one with Source, so there's no need for even labels. We're just one with God. But I care about God so much, I said, let me do research on every single, group of people that mention a creator or a God, and let me see if I can find some cross-referencing information. So now, Deja, because you just proved to us you didn't look up any of this information about Christianity because all you just said was, I just looked in the book. You don't, to cross-reference, you don't look at the same information that the origin of the information is coming from in your eyes. So, for example, if I want to know about the origins of this salt rock, I'm not just going to go to the store where I purchased the salt rock. I gotta actually do research on where it came from, who was the originator or who was the person that brought it to the Americas. I gotta go to, research, who was the person that knew how to implement the lighting. I have to do research. I can't go to the store I bought it from and say, oh, you're the only person with the answers. No, because the store that you got the book from, they got that information from another place. And that place got the information from another place. You're not going to tell me that a book thousands and thousands and thousands of years old didn't get their information from somewhere. Let's all use critical thinking skills. Again, that's why I should have named this live critical thinking. Let's all use critical thinking skills. Before the Bible was even written, there were religions. You can do your research on this. Do research on religions, and you'll figure out that there is a religion that was around way before Christianity was even popularized. So before the religion, any particular religion, was even formulated, was even written, it had to come from somewhere. Critical thinking, everybody. If critical thinking says, before this religion was created, it was a group of people, and they all was saying, let's put this in the Bible, let's put this in the Bible. And there's a lot of stuff that's omitted from the Bible. For example, like the book of Enoch. There's a lot more that's omitted from the Bible. But now we must ask, from where were they getting the information? Because what you're not going to sit here and tell me, Deja, is the people that created this religion Every last one of them was just channeling God. That's what you're not going to tell me. That's actual fallacy. Because if they were channeling God, then what about the Crusades? So the Crusades was all in God's name, right? No, it wasn't. It was man's name. God had nothing to do with that. So critical thinking lets us know, in order to establish a giant book of beliefs, what people must understand what the Christian religion is the Christian religion, it was designed to be the ultimate religion. When you do research on Christianity, you would figure out, when you actually do research, to anybody that's naysayers, y'all gonna have to send me proof that y'all have done research on these things. Because if you have not typed where my religion came from, if you have not typed the first words of Yeshua, if you have not looked up Yeshua's family, does Yeshua have a family? Obviously he has a family because he came from a mother, and that mother had a mother, and that mother had a mother. You'll figure out there's a person called Grandmother Ann, Yeshua's grandmother, and she created with alongside other people the Essenes that taught Yeshua, because Grandmother Ann received a vision that in her bloodline, the Messiah would come onto earth. So an angel came to Grandmother Ann and said, listen, you have to establish a school of these hidden wisdoms to teach this Messiah coming in. Because we all know with critical thinking skills, when the baby is born, the baby does not know nothing. You're not going to sit here and tell me that when Jesus was born, he was speaking in complete sentences, flying all over the town. No, he was wah, wah, wah. He had to be taught. So when you do research on these things, you'll figure out that Grandmother Ann received a message from an angel, very similar angel, an angelic story to when Mother Mary received messages that she was going to be the vessel to birth the Christ. But even on Mother Mary, people don't give her enough credit, because to birth the Christ, you have to be the Christ. That's this frequency. You're not going to birth an energy if you're not of it, because that energy will have you have a miscarriage, and someone is not going to make it. So when you do that information and you do that research, you'll realize Yeshua had a family. He had a established bloodline of very spiritual people. That's why he chose to incarnate in that specific bloodline. That's why people till this day who have that bloodline are able to perform specific miracles or are just more susceptible to spiritual information, because they're of the bloodline. The bloodline still exists today. So until you or whoever does research on your own religions, don't come to someone that has. Especially if you value God, because if you value God, your only basis should be, are you bringing the people love? People are so egotistical, they don't care about love. We can tell when people don't actually care about love. Because when people are bringing love towards other people, you have egotistical people saying, well, why aren't you of my God? No, only God can bring forth love. Only my religion. What? Why can't we all just exist as one big happy family? Why? Why do we have to beef with one another? Why does this religion and this religion and this group of people and this group of people in this country, why do we have to fight all the time? Why is our ego so much in the forefront of our everyday lives? What good does it do you? You're not going to sit here and tell me you sleep better at night bashing and judging another person. Because if that same person came to your face and bashing and judging you, you would not feel happy. So why do you think it's okay to do that to other people? This goes for countries, this goes for religions, this goes for races, this goes for all of it. When are you going to actually value love? The same people that said they value God are the same people that's bringing forth hates to other people. We're done with it. It's so much hypocrisy. Every master who is truly a master, they despise hypocrisy. If you love God so much, be happy that the world is a better place when certain people are around. Don't then say, I don't care if everybody's living happily ever after. No, you got to live happily ever after my way. What? If what we just said makes sense, Type 33s in the chat. Everybody, don't go back and forth. Just listen to what we're saying. If everything that we just said makes sense, type 33s in the chat. Don't focus on going back and forth, because if we're not focused on bridging, there's no point in wasting your words and wasting your energy. What we have to do is ask critical questions. Critical question. Type 33s in the chat if what we said makes sense. Type 33s in the chat if just loving each other makes sense. Type 33s in the chat if you want wars to stop. Type 33s in the chat if you're tired of anger and pains. Type 33s in the chat if you're tired of arguing with people. Type 33s in the chat if you just want the world to be a better place. Because if you really care about the world, then you won't be bickering with people. If you don't like arguing with people, then stop it. If you don't like bickering and warring and all of that, stop feeding the narratives and the energy. There is nothing wrong with bridging with people. There is nothing wrong with agreeing to disagree. There is nothing wrong with being cordial with people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Deja, for asking the question. We love you. What does that number mean, 33? 33, when you study numerology, there's multiple meanings, but we'll go through numerology first. No, Solaris. 33 is a master number. They say it's a master number. So what a master number is, essentially, it's in intervals of 11. So 11, 22, 33. Come on, come on, buddy, outside. No, outside. All right, then stay over there. So 33 is a master number. It's in intervals of 11. So you got 11, you have 22, you have 33, you have 44, so on and so forth. Some say it stops at 33. Some say you merge a master number together. But because you're not into numerology, I'm going to save you all the semantics data. So what people believe in numerology is numbers are important. You know, even Tesla, Tesla, the super smart dude that people are still using his inventions today, I'm pretty sure Tesla has some credence to what he's talking about. Even Tesla was like viewing through numbers. If you understand everything through vibration, energy, and frequency, you would understand the secrets of the universe if you look at everything through vibration, frequency, and energy. He was talking about how 369, numbers are extremely important. Yes, 369, numbers. So the study of numerology is understanding that numbers in itself is a language. The moment a person connects numbers and language, then they start seeing something called angel numbers. Okay, so Deja, what is angel numbers? See, you see how we bridge? I love when people just ask questions. Because I love bridging with people. You see how happy I get when I can just, yes, you asked a question, finally. Angel numbers is when someone assigns numbers and language and they actually mean it. So when that happens, then angels communicate to you through numbers. Well, why do they communicate through you through numbers? Because in our day-to-day, and this is actual fact, Deja, the reason why angels don't speak to you in like words on the screen, stuff like that, because in our day-to-day, be logical for a second, there are so many words we see in our day-to-day reality. So just seeing a particular word doesn't matter. But if we see a repeating number constantly, it's going to shake our reality. We're going to be like, why do I keep seeing the number 47? Why do I keep seeing the number 33? Why do I keep seeing 111? Why do I keep seeing 333? You see that it makes sense when you look at it that way. If you just seen words everywhere, it's just, words there, billboards, words behind me. Tim Hortons is a word. Just words, hella words. So the angels is not going to talk about words. Somebody said, who are you? I am the son of source, as are you. We are one. There's no difference. My name is Nadiie Black. So that's why numbers are what a lot of angels utilize. That's why numbers are what a lot of angels utilize, because they know the moment you see 111 3 times, you're like, bro, what the heck is going on? The moment you see 33 or 47 or 27 hella times, yo, what does this? So you know what you do? Because angels like you to question things. Spirits, when they communicate, they need acknowledgement. So the moment you see it, oh, what in the world? Boom, that's the first level of acknowledgement. How do you know those are angel numbers? Those aren't written in the Bible. See, I love that question. Let me get to that question. I love that. I love this bridging. Yay! All right. So, numbers, angel numbers. So when you see it, so let's say you see 11 for like third time today. Boom. Okay. I see 11. The way spirits work is they need acknowledgement, and that's how they continue on with their dialogue. So then now there's 3 levels of acknowledgement. There's the perception, the power in the eyes, and then there's the action, and then there's the being. The action of acknowledgement is you looking up, what does 1111 mean? I come from God, as are you, as do you, as does everybody. My origin, those I may say I'm of Siksika, I'm Blackfoot, Okisanatapia, Nixisquini I'm really a medicine man. People there get so caught up in their origins, but when you go far enough, everybody comes from God. So we come from God. I don't. Who cares about this star system? None of that matters. You come from God. So when you look it up, that's the second level of acknowledgement. What does 1111 mean? Now to answer your question, Deja, she asks, well, how do you know those are angel numbers? Those aren't written in the Bible. Well, Deja, you must know that a lot of things were omitted from the Bible. That's why I see when I was saying do research on the Bible and stuff like that. It's not because I'm bashing you or the Bible or people that don't do research. It's because I remember what I said earlier. I said, masters either tell you the truth or they lead you to where the truth is. If I know it's going to be kind of hard for you to believe me, let me just guide you in the direction where the truth is. So when you start doing research on the Bible and its origins and stuff like that, you will find a plethora of books that were omitted from them. And then you will see, oh, I mean, who omitted them? Why did this man omit them? Because only a man omitted the Bible. And we're not going to talk about that because the live might get restricted, Deja. But when you do your research, you will figure out who this person is that omitted stuff from the Bible. But how do you know those are angel numbers? So we answered the second part of the question. But not everything is in the Bible. Because if the Bible was so of truth, you know how it says Yeshua healed with his hands and stuff like that? If the Bible was so of truth, it would teach you how to use the ways of the hands, Reiki. If the Bible was so much because Jesus used Reiki, it's called the way of the hand. Since Jesus used it, then it must have some credence. Well, if the Bible was actually so much involved with telling people the truth, it would teach you verbatim how to do Reiki. Because remember, we all established, because critical thinking, we all established that Jesus, as a baby, wasn't someone He wasn't like Baby Boss. This idea that Jesus was Baby Boss is actually crazy. He came as a human to show you can be a human and you can do it too. So he learned Reiki. So how do you know those are angel numbers? Well, one, when we do research on them, we can figure out that they have, there's a particular code that angels move by. And it's kind of hard to talk about angels and not get very esoteric with you, Deja, but just bear with me. I'm going to try my best to bring it to as close to physicality as possible, but just know it gets very, very hard to talk about angels and not get esoteric. Angels, they live by a particular code of conduct. Even in the Bible, there's stories about when people would bow to angels, angels would say, no, you don't bow to me. No. Because they live by a particular code of conduct. Well, what we figured out is there was very, very smart people like Nikola Tesla, right? Nikola Tesla. Very, very smart people. Smarter than even me with the brain. And they figured out the language of numbers. They say, well, the number 11 has this particular frequency. How we know it has this particular frequency is because when they have certain machines and they would understand that, for example, in music, there's one way that they learn about numbers and frequencies. Every sound has hertz, okay? Every sound has hertz. Hertz are numbers. Every sound has hertz. Hertz are numbers. Well, what people found out, and it was like, I think this test is even on YouTube. You can look this up. Like, there's like cups. Some people may know what I'm talking about. There's cups of water, and a person played specific sounds into the cups, and one cup of water turned black, another cup of water turned very clear, another cup of water had sacred geometry forming in it, all through hertz, numbers. So what people understood was each number, each hertz, has a particular frequency that does particular things. Not bad or good, they just all do different things. So that was the basis of understanding an angelic communication. I know I'm talking to Archangel Michael because Archangel Michael carries himself this way, this assertive way. Well, the frequency of 3 is very, very assertive. The frequency of 3 is very much in the know of what a master is, being in the know of thyself. Okay, Archangel Michael, he loves the 3 number. Oh, he also loves like the oneness number as well. So that's how we know. And I try my best to not get very esoteric. You see me bringing scientific stuff in, but just because I feel like you're opening up a little bit, I'm gonna get a tad bit esoteric with you because I do something called astral projecting, and it is very, very real. When you meet these angels, they are nothing like what the Bible says. It doesn't look like the eyes and all of that. No, no, no. They're completely different. These beings are so much in light. They kind of, and when I give this description of what angels look like, know that this is still a form that they use for humans. So all the people that actually has met angels, they will say that there's a similar form, but them as in themselves, when they go back to their home, they don't have legs and arms, and they don't have that. But they do that to make us comfortable. Because an angel's main purpose is to make sure we don't freak out. Though we still will, because angels, when you meet them, they look like humanoid versions of light. They have arms, they have legs, but they have no real features. They don't have muscles and things. It's just all light. If you watch the Watchmen movie, you know Dr. Manhattan, how he's all blue? Well, visualize like Dr. Manhattan, but it's just like white light. Sometimes it's red light. Sometimes it's rainbow light. They all have different colors because colors also are registered with specific frequencies. Numbers, colors, sound, they all go hand in hand with one another. Well, with particular angels, they have this energy that comes off of their back that looks like wings. That's why humans interpret it as wings. That's why artists draw angels as having wings. They don't literally have wings, but they have energy that flows out of their body that kind of resemble wings. You know how Jesus would say parables? Like he would say, heaven is like a kingdom. He's not saying heaven is actually a kingdom. He knows that there is no throne. He knows that God is not a man, therefore he does not sit down. He knows there's no crown. But at that time, people described a kingdom as a very blissful place with gold and everything. So Jesus was like, if Jesus came today and had to say that same verse, he wouldn't say the word kingdom. He would say Dubai, or he would say like a paradise place, like it's like a rainforest. He would say some place on earth that is extremely beautiful. Like he would say some offshore place that we don't even know. When we look it up, we say that place is beautiful. I'm like, yes, heaven is like that. So that's why some humans, they would interpret things. So the angels, they have this energy that comes off of them. And angels, they don't speak with words. They speak through sound. So when you ask, well, how do I know those are angel numbers? Because they're coming from the angels, because angels speak through hertz. They speak through sound. Bear with me, I might sound a little wild, but when you speak to an angel, like an actual one, they'll be like, if you be like, hey, how you doing? They'll be like, ooh, ooh. You'll be like, what? And if you need some more information on this, there's very powerful readers like Pamela Anderson and all. So many powerful readers that know how to talk angel talk or interpret. You can't talk angel talk, but you can interpret what they're saying when you are around them long enough. You know how a kid is around a particular person that speaks a particular language. You know how they kind of pick up on the language. It's the same thing with channelers. If you speak Japanese around a kid, somehow he's just going to start speaking Japanese, or she's going to start speaking Japanese. It's the same thing with angelic communication. You are never going to know what the angel was talking about when you first meet it, but the more it's around you, you start to pick up, oh, when he does this, he makes this sound. Ooh. Oh, when he does this, he makes this sound. Ooh. So it's like, okay, so I'm starting to get it now. So this sound means that, and that's it. So when he says, ooh, ooh, ah, when he starts talking, it's like, okay, I see what you're talking about now. Okay, you say you want some grits and shrimp. All right. That is how people interpret what angels are talking about. Yeah, I love bridging with you, Daisy. That's fun. I tried not to get a little too esoteric, but God was like, just give it to her. I think she'll understand a little bit. Okay, let's see if you asked any other questions. Let's see if you asked any other questions, Deja. You see how easy it is bridging with people, y'all? You see how easy it is? It's fun bridging with people. You are breaking my law in heaven. The Almighty God. Judge not, and you don't judge yourself. Judge another, and you do judge yourself, quote unquote, the Almighty God. Don the Ram. Plus, they've taken things out of every revision. Originals. The original Bibles and stuff. They had astronomy, they had astrology, they had something called seers, no slayers. Many things. So yes, the original Bible. That's why we say do research on it. We're not saying do research on it because we want you to find atrocities of your religion. No, it's just to understand it more. Because I can't say this particular thing because the lives will get restricted. We don't want that to happen. But when you do research, you figure and you start asking questions. Well, who omitted this stuff from the Bible? You will find a very particular group of people that is still in power today. And the name of the title they have. Let's go outside. And the name of the title these people have start with a P. The name of the title these people have that omit stuff from the Bible, it starts with a P. The next letter is a O. P-O-P. Holding it down. Y'all know what the last letter is. P-O-P. Holding it down. What's the last letter? Is that title. And those group of people, they was omitting stuff from the Bible. Alrighty, Deja. Do you have any more questions for us? P-O-P. Y'all know the last letter is. Those people. Any more questions, Deja? Let's see. Yeah, 432 hertz is a very powerful frequency. I'm only trying to understand your point of view. My eyes are set on God. That in itself is God. See, right there, that statement right there is you valuing God, not your religion, not your book, not these things. That means you're valuing God because last time I checked, God is not a book, God is not a religion, God is not an item, God is not a person, God is not any of these things. God is far beyond all of these things. So when you say, I'm only trying to understand your point of view, my eyes are only set on God, that is the truth. Right there. When you value God, you value God. It's just that simple. That deduction that you just got to, that's what we are trying our absolute best to get everybody else to understand. You don't have to agree or not, but just ask the question. Because when you realize, well, this person values God, you're not going to sit here and tell me that a monk isn't trying his best to live a life of peace. That's him valuing his version of what, in his interpretation of what God is. Everybody lives differently. You're not going to go into a Jamaican spot as an agent and say, shut it all down, we need chicken fried rice. You're not going to do that. You're not going to go to a freaking breakfast spot and say, we need more chicken and grits in here. You're not going to go to a breakfast spot and say, we need some spaghetti. It's a breakfast spot. The point of this is every place is different and everybody does different things. So if we can just all agree that God is limitless, then we're good. Alrighty, what else? Heaven is like gaming. On the rim, that is actually hilarious. I don't say it to hurt you, but oh, Deja. Don't bring forth the judgments. We forgive you for you know not what you do or say. For you value not love, Deja, with that statement. Even if you in your own life value that which is love, you value not love. Because if you did, then you would understand that the people we affect feel loved. So it's very ego-like for one who brings forth love to have another person say, nah, God's nowhere near you. Very ego-like. Because that's what a colonizer does. What you just did, God's words are nowhere near you, that's what the colonizers did to the Native Americans. That's exactly what the colonizers did with the Native Americans. What you just said, Deja. The colonizers came to the Americas and they said, your God is wrong. our God is right. Be very careful with the words you utilize. Judge another, judge yourself. I'm using specific verbiage and terms and verses from your own books. It kind of, this what we're experiencing right now is kind of what Jesus was going through when he was speaking to the Pharisees. I mean, in your own religions it says do this, then why don't you do it? Why are you so quick to denounce another person rather than live in harmony? Why can't you live in harmony with things? What is so like triggering for you that someone is showcasing God in a different way? Because if my hands were glowing light and I was doing all of this stuff, you would say I'm a witch and doing dark magic. But Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, was doing all of those things. And yes, he was being called all of those things, witches, dark magic, all of that. Because no human can do this, only God can do this. It's kind of odd to me. People adopt this colonizer energy. You will never hear me say a religion is this religion is completely wrong, completely false. Leave that religion and come over here. I will never say leave this anything and come over here, because I value harmony with things. That is what the native elders taught me. Before I even started teaching about the oneness of God, what the native elders told me is that they went into the dirt and they drew a circle. And they said, harmony is this circle. All things connected, all things are flowing. When the circle breaks or something else comes in to disturb the circle, that's when you have issues. The goal, Nadiie, is to bring everybody back to harmony. There were tribes over here, tribes over here, tribes over here that all did different things, that all prayed different ways, that all talked to God in different ways. But the one thing they all did was had a respect for one another. They would never fix their lips to say you're stupid or what you're doing is wrong, or something as bold as God is nowhere near this live. Do you know how bold, you know how egotistical just saying that is, Deja? How egotistical do you have to be to walk up to somebody that is healing people, bringing forth love and light, and only prioritizing love and light and saying God is nowhere near this? Because when have you helped people? Show me the messages of when you're stopping people from committing suicide. Show me the messages of when you're helping people's families and mending people's relationships together. Show me the messages of you going outside, quitting your job to go mentor some kids. Show me your histories and your messages where you're doing all of these things, because I can show you mine. I have proof of me teaching. I have proof of me performing miracles with people in group activities. Go click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Blast Guidance, and look at those lives. Look at day 3 of the 7-day live for the eclipse and those techniques. If you were there, people in the comments still blowing me up to this day about the 7-day live. So how everything was working, how their body is vibrating, how the light is coming, how I only feel love. So how egotistical, how bold do you have to be to say God is nowhere near you? That is so bold. That's so egoic to fix your lips to say something like that. I would never go to any church and to go to the pastor and say God is nowhere near this place. I will never go to a mosque and say God is nowhere near this place. That is so egotistical and hateful. You don't even realize how much hate is in that statement. You don't even realize what's going to be reflected in your life because of you even saying that. You don't even realize it. Because God is all things. So when you try your best to remove God from something, you're saying you don't matter and your existence matters not. That's what you do when you say a statement like that. That's an actual fact. Words have power. Be very careful with what you say. So what we're saying is, listen, even before you said the statement, I forgave you. What you must understand, Deja, is I love you completely. I love you perfectly, not even unconditionally. I do not love you unconditionally, Deja. I love you perfectly, for unconditionally is still of duality. It's I shall not be of conditions, therefore I shall be unconditional. No, I love you perfectly. I will never fix my lips to say you're wrong, but what I will say is, let me lead you to where more information is. I give you certain words, I gave you certain things to research so you can understand your religion a little better. I never said anything to remove you from this ideology or any of this or any of that. No, everybody recognize this is a masterclass of bridging. So don't fix your lips to say God ain't in a place if you aren't willing to back up how you're living a life of light. That's hypocrisy. And one thing that we all know, the people that study about the Bible and all these other religions, the one thing Jesus did not like was hypocrisy. Don't fix your lips to denounce someone else if you're not making the world a better place. Don't fix your lips to denounce someone else when you're willing to quit your job to go to the light, to go help people, to go volunteer for kids, to go do this. But my job, but my house, but my... No. Because last time I checked, when it was about time for Jesus to go spread his ministries, he told everybody, listen, you won't have to leave this life y'all valued you so much because God matters. Last time I checked. So when was the last time you was serious about that? When are you willing to go home? I'm not saying go homeless, but are you willing to go homeless for the light? Are you willing to drop everything for the light? Are you willing to be a nomad for the light? I'm not saying do any of this. God is never going to put you in a position to where you can't survive on earth. But what we're saying is willingness. How far are you willing? That's why I asked everybody, do you value God or humans? Because if you truly value God, a person that actually values God is like, listen, God, whatever you tell me, as long as we love it, as long as I can make the world a better place, I'm doing it. You said leave the house, leave the job, move to this state, go over here, go over here. I'm going to do it. I remember my sister. She was getting like one of her IDs for something. And she said there was this lady living in her car. And she said this lady, she was so deep. She was saying, yeah, I just moved from like my third house. I got this calling for, from God to go to this state. And when I went there, I met so many beautiful people and it helped me get a lot of money and stuff like that. I mean, you have a lot of money, then why don't you just settle down? No. And she was a very hardcore Christian lady. But that's why I'm saying I had no issues with religion. I just love when people actually valued God. This was a hardcore Christian lady. But she was like, I value God so much, like, God ain't a home. God ain't, there's nothing that God can't provide me. So I'm willing to leave this house and, have my kids come with me, travel all around the world to spread this light. She was that tapped in. So for all the spiritual people, let's not give this idea that religious people can't be tapped in. But what we will do is we're going to call out the ones that aren't facading like they are. Because for one to say something as bold as God is not here, then what are you doing? What light are you providing the planet? The planet, not your neighborhood, the planet. I said my piece. She left the chat. Somebody said she left. Hey, man. I was just saying the truth. I'm just saying the truth. Sorry, y'all. Just say the truth, y'all. Just say the truth. What's up, Mr. Buddy? Go lay down. Hey, man. I was just saying the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts, y'all. Sometimes the truth just hurts. It's okay. I said, I love her. Love her unconditionally. It's always good to end it on love. You feel me? You feel me? It's always good to end it on love. I love all of you. It's so funny. Remember, this one I might post. I actually might post this one. It's a little longer. We didn't post the other one, but I actually might post this one because what we just displayed with Deja is a master class that everybody can apply to any particular person that does not agree with them. Also note that, if you miss any of the lives that we brought forth, click the link in our bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance. You'll be able to watch over 100 hours of, free teachings. Free. Understand that we make very, very beautiful music. So click the link in our bio, click, YouTube, the very, very last link, and listen to our album, Why We Fear. Also, if you click the link in the bio, click Nadiie Black's music page. And you can watch our album or a song to one of the albums called GPS. It's a music video, very, very powerful. When you listen to this stuff, you're going to say, oh, this person makes very good music. This person really has the ability to change the world. But I can't change the world without the help of all of you. It's a collaborative effort. So if you really want to make the world a better place, let's stop complaining and make the world a better place. Let's make the music that's good in the forefront. Let's the teachings in the forefront. Let's bridge it in harmony with people. Yeah.
Yeah, do all of that. I love y'all, man. This is a nice little live. I was here much longer than what I thought, but sources just like get on live again because I had this anxious feeling in me that I just wanted to just get out. And anytime I get those feelings, just this anxious, just like so much energy. Then I get on and teach because all that means is time to teach. Stephanie says, "Do you do readings?" Yes, I do readings. Everything that a person as spiritual can do, I can do. All right, I promise you. If you click the link in my bio, you click book a session. You will follow some steps, and it will tell you how to book the session. You would email me what you need. And the reason why we email first is because my sessions, I have 30-minute sessions and I have hour-long sessions. But because I love all of y'all so much, I only want the intros to be like 1 minute, 2 minute at max. Because I'm going straight into what you need. So that's why it's good to email me something very descriptive of what you need so I can prepare. I'll have notes and everything written down very, very serious. Because I really prioritize changing people's lives for love. If you need tarot card readings, I got you. If you need angelic readings, I got you. Whatever reading you need. And the reason, because you have some people that's like, well, why don't you just have all of that like organized? Like, oh, angelic readings here, or this reading here, or this reading here. Because I need people to understand when you walk by God, you can do anything. So that's why it's just book a session. And then it's like, what do you need? Don't limit me because you think I can't. Just ask away, and I promise you I can. I have all the tools. If you need some information about the Tao, and you need all of this, and astrology, I know all of it. I may not be as overt of teaching it, because my only priority is teaching love and harmony and God and things of that nature. I may slip in some astrology type of stuff, every here and there, but like even in the mystery school, yesterday was the 5-5 portal. So we talked about how to prepare for the 5-5 portal and stuff like that. So I'm very, very aware. I can do everything. Just ask. So just click a link in the bio, click book a session. Just follow the steps, and I promise you, yeah, you would have so much, so much in alignment. Do you know any QHHT healers in Florida? I learned so much from this live. Thank you. Yeah, that's why I want to post this. Yeah, I want to post this live. Do you know any QHHT healers in Florida? Wolfcock, I'm going to get back with you. I don't know off the top of my head. I know one good one. The one that I would want in the future, like when I get my money up, not my funny up. This lady name is Allison Co. She actually has a YouTube channel. Allison Co. Really good. But she's always booked. But I have like emails and stuff, and she would tell me that she's available and stuff like that. But you got to get your money up, not your funny up, with the QHHT sessions. Yeah, you got to get your money up, not your funny up. They're not playing. They bust your head wide open, but the experience is so worth it. Based on what comes out, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Based on what we see. But I will look up, I know a specific website where all of them are. Not all of them, but a nice chunk of them. I will look through the website, and I will tell you a person, and I'll send you the website as well. Yeah. They're pretty expensive, buddy. They're pretty expensive, buddy. I would have had one if it wasn't so expensive. Like over 1,000. I would say about about in between 300 to 600, around that range. 300 to 600, around that range. But with QHHT practitioners, there's like levels to it. So if you want the best ones, you're gonna get to that higher price. Alrighty, everybody. God is in us in all things He could do. He gave it to us. We just need to learn how to tap in. Exactly. Yeah. So like even when I wanted a QHHT session when I was younger. As I get older, I don't really need one because my astral experiences are on par with people's QHHT experiences. But that's not taking away value from the QHHT sessions, because when you read these transcripts, when you go on Allison Coe's YouTube channel, you read the transcripts of her sessions, oh my God, you get so much information. I can only imagine how much people have healed from it. Like, there's QHHT sessions are so powerful. Like, there was this person that basically had needed surgery for like his lungs or something, and then when the Samyanistic came forth, that energy, they repaired the lungs, and the person went back to the doctor and gave the practitioner the report. I don't need surgery no more. Is that it? Just so yeah, it's very, very powerful. But all of this stuff can be achieved through self, but it's very powerful. I'm curiouser than the cat. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know about the QHHT sessions. Thank you everybody for this wondrous live. I'm so grateful because like I love when it's very intimate crowds. Could we talk? It's like we're on a group call, like a group FaceTime. I need everybody to understand that I'm your brother. I'm here for you. There's no difference between us, no matter how wonderful people view me or whatnot. I love hanging out with you. What's the power? What's the power? You're the power, buddy. Tell me again. You're the power, buddy. So yeah, it's like hanging out with y'all. Thank you. There's the secrets of the soul. We already did our prayer in the beginning, so we just stand on that. Remember what you asked, source. Remember how we talked about prayers and stuff like that. Remember all of this. It's in my eyes. It's in your existence. Tell me again. So everybody, love ya. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Y'all have a wonderful night. This one will be posted a little later. Just give me like 2-3 hours and it will be posted on the Nadiie Black's guidance page. Thank you. And Wolf Kai, I will get those QHHT session information for you. Peace.